and welcome to the Laser Maker's Realm. I'm Rich, the Louisiana Hobby Guy. That's Patrick.
And that's Steve.
And as he said, that's Rich.
Here we are, ready to go. So today's video, we're going to be talking about the project that Steve put up and also the project that Patrick put up on the Laser Maker's Realm. And before we get started with the comments, I just wanted to quickly talk about it. Steve made the fire truck, which I have right here. I made one myself. The fire truck door hanger, which is kind of hard to see at the camera because of the background. The letters are black, but this fits on the top of your door. And Patrick did some PMAGs, some PMAG engraving on the fiber laser. And just to talk about that for a second, what we're going to be sharing on this channel, and this is our first official live, by the way. Welcome, everybody. Glad to see you all here. What we're going to be sharing on this channel is either files or, in Patrick's case, he's going to be sharing fiber files. So fiber settings for the files that he did the project with. So for instance, this one with the PMAG, he's going to share his settings for the fiber. Steve has already shared his file on lasermakersrealm.com, and that is the zip file that you can download and make this door hanger yourself. So that's what's going on today. So with that said, I want to say hi to everybody. We got a bunch of people already here. Tina has been waiting, said she can't wait since 9 o'clock this morning. Well, thank you, Tina.
Awesome.
I'm absolutely glad that you're here. Jim McCall is here. Hi, Jim. I knew you'd be here today. And of course, my number one fan, Merrell. Hope this group gains a following. Oh, I'm sure it's going to gain a following.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to be doing these projects probably. You'll probably get a new project every 5 or 6 or 7 days, something like that, that you get for free. So we design it, we put it up. In Patrick's case, on the fiber laser, if you have a fiber laser, you're going to get the settings to run the same project. And you know, I think there's going to be a bunch of people here. So let's see what else we got. Good morning, Doug. Jim, hello. I knew you'd be here today, Mr. Jim. So glad to see you. Thank you so much for stopping in. We will take care of that problem that you got on Monday, I promise you. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Scotland. Oh, wow. Hi, Stuart. Thank you for stopping in. It's good to see you. Hi, Will. Good to see you. Sharon is here. Happy Sunday. Okay, let's see. Annabin. And we got Dwayne. Dwayne is here. Good morning, Dwayne. Good morning, Daniel. Good to see you here. Hi, Wendy. Nice to see you. Just saying the opening hellos. So hello, everybody. It's great to see everybody here. So today is going to be a Q&A, and we're going to be talking about the files that we have already published over the course of the last week. So over the course of the last week, I've been too busy here in the shop getting things organized to get a particular project up. I'll get one up pretty soon. But Steve has gotten the door hanger, as I showed you a few minutes ago. I just did this one this morning. Total time, I don't know what it took you, Steve, on the CO2, but I did this in, Chaz, it was 50 minutes, right?
Yeah.
50 minutes, and then about another 30 minutes to actually do the artwork. Let me make this one a little bit bigger so that you can see it. Let me take this off the screen, and we'll do this. And I don't know how well that you're going to see that because of the black letters, but we did the truck. The stake bed is something that you can't really see. And actually, I can show you a picture of this. So let me do that instead. Let me show you the picture. I'll share my screen here. Let's see. Let me jump over to this one. This is the actual, let me see if I can go bigger. This is the Xtool that I did this on. And let me see. I got to get it to play. Just to give you an idea, I did this on the 20-watt Xtool, and it took 50 minutes start to finish. And the tires that you see there actually came out awesome. Beautiful, deep engraving on that. So let me go to, this is Chaz. He's my shop helper, and he's the one that did all of the painting. And we used permanent markers. In fact, we used Mr. Pen. If any of you guys are looking for markers, Mr. Pen is a local Louisiana company, and they make better markers than Sharpie. They last longer. So that's him painting it. And this is, there you go. That's a better look at it. This is the final design. So you can see we did the green bumpers front and back over here. We did the green hubcaps. The tires are, this is 6mm wood. The tires are about 3mm deep. So in person, it looks much better in person. Here you can sort of see the stake bed. If I get too close, you won't be able to see it. Stake bed came out wonderful. Steve did a great job on this file. And of course, I put their name on the door, and that's it. So this hangs on the corner, the right side of a door frame, and I think it just came out awesome. So, Steve, tell us a little bit about how you designed this.
Wow. How the design came to be.
How did this come about? Yeah, how did this come to be?
The way most of my designs come to be, especially if it's something I'm going to be sharing here on Laser Makers Realm, is first thing I do is I jump online and do a Google search of what's popular and what's hot and what's now. And right now, when you look on Etsy and a few other places, these door hangers are all the rage on Laser Maker files. And they're selling these files for $3 and $5 and $8 a piece. And I said, that's easy enough to make. So I said, you know what? We'll design one and put it on the LMR here for all of our viewers to download for free.
All right, awesome. So now, the one thing that I did notice about the file is that it worked almost flawlessly. So, almost. I had one or two little problems with it, but I think you already fixed those.
Yep. In fact, whenever the way I do my files here on LMR on my channel, which is Hobo with Wood, I will go through the whole creation process, the whole design process. And this was actually a really in-depth video. It was an hour-long video on Hobo with Wood. And one of the things that I was trying to stress in that video is one of the most important things in LightBurn is priority. Priority is everything. And whenever you're trying to subtract or add, weld, and even in starting with the designing, starting out with the very first thing is when you're going to start a design, you better start from scale to begin with, because if you design and it's too large, then and it looks good, but then when you shrink it down to the size you're going to create, there may be some pieces that are now too intricate to cut out or be sturdy. So you want to start with your overall size.
Let me interrupt you for a second there.
Yeah,
I did not like the size, the 4mm size, so I did resize the slots here.
Right.
I got it facing the wrong way. I did resize this because I used some beefy wood, so 6mm wood, and a couple other little things that I had to do when I put the names in here. The I above Micah here, I had to create. I did an offset and I deleted the original text. So like you showed in your video, Steve.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the video, jump over to Hobo with Wood and take a look at the design of this. It's a long video, but it's worth the watch. And don't skip, because if you skip forward, you're going to miss a bunch of stuff. And I'm addressing Moondog's comments here. How do you invent the image? So Steve was addressing that just a minute ago, but there were just a couple little things. The eyes in all of the words, I had to create the cutout for it, and you want to make sure that it's big enough so that your laser can actually cut it out.
Yeah.
So that was another important step that I don't know. I think you did it differently, but I only used the offset.
And I didn't actually go into any of the adding of the text in my design. Just very briefly, it's like this is because that could have gotten derailed and been a whole nother video, and I was already pushing an hour. But
Right.
there were some issues with the initial file. So if you guys were some of the first ones to download this file when I first uploaded it, because of the way I designed the priorities out of order, I had a lot of open shapes, and the open paths rather, prevented you from welding those text and those offsets into place. So I went in and fixed them, but I didn't fix them all. I went in and fixed them again today. So as of right now, if you download that file again, you should have an image with no open paths. All the paths should be closed and easy to weld. And we're going to go over that here in a minute about how you can identify that and how to correct them without even having to go and re-download them if you want to just fix what you got.
Right. Okay, so we have a question from Wendy. She's asking, what do you seal with after you paint? And I'll answer that first, and then Steve, you can answer that next if you like.
Sure.
So Wendy, what I'm doing is I'm going to be using just a natural clear on this particular one, clear coat. And I still haven't finished the backside. On the backside, I'm going to put my logo, made in the USA by Louisiana Hobby Guy. So that's the next burn that'll take place on that. And then I'll seal that with just a simple clear coat. Steve?
Yeah, I just use a gloss lacquer.
Right.
Yeah, spray just an aerosol lacquer right out of the can, $10 can from Lowe's.
Yeah, Patrick, what do you use?
Lately, I've been using a Minwax one coat polyurethane. You brush it on, let it dry, and you're done. It's pretty simple.
Right. Okay. I played with that a little bit, here and there, the Minwax. I think I used the Valspar. Yeah. Valspar is the one that I was using, but you can use any clear coat, it doesn't matter. All right. So Chad is asking about how you picked 0.008 on the truck bed.
As far as the line interval?
Yeah, I don't think you did. I think you did 1.
Yeah, or no, I think it was even more than that. I think it was 0.0. In fact, I got it right here. Let's see. The way I determined it, that's his question, is actually if you go into, in fact, sorry if I just share this screen here.
Yeah. Probably in the preview mode.
Yeah. All right. So exactly, you're right, Rich, in the preview mode. So here you see I've got the stake bed on its own layer, so it's going to stand out. And if I go to the preview mode, you can zoom in, you can see just how that's going to look. Well, and as I was designing it, if I initially, let's see, go back where I'm getting confused. Oh, okay. My screens are all everywhere, guys. Sorry. All right.
Click on preview and zoom way in.
Yeah, I got it. There, if on the cut adding editor here, I did a 0.8, not a 0.08. But I just played with this. 0.06 is going to be smaller, and also it is personal preference. Is what appeals to you. But
okay, that's what Chad said. His question was how you picked the 0.8 on the truck bed.
It's just that's what I liked. I kept playing with that setting in the preview.
I want to say that the way that he picked that 0.8 on the truck bed is going to be the fact that he wanted to have the crosshatch show up.
A simulated wood. I didn't want it to look like paint. I wanted it to look like it was a wood truck bed.
Exactly. So the larger, the number that you put in there, the more it's going to you know, the more it's going to look like a crosshatch. You actually get to see the cross. It looks like there's pieces of wood going in both directions. So yeah. So yeah, we got you, Chad. The line interval. I did one. I did one on mine, 1.0. And Merrell is saying that you did a great job.
Thank you, Merrell. Appreciate it.
That was a good video. You know, a lot of people don't like to watch long videos, and I'm famous for that. And so is Steve. You know, we're famous for making these long videos. But what we want to do is we want to make sure that we give you all of the information, all of the little tips and tricks, and that you see all of the mistakes that we make along the way. And I think that's super, super important.
Yeah,
so
some
if
of my
best
videos,
don't skip them.
Yeah, some of my best designs end up coming from mistakes.
Yes, exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so the link to okay.
That's the design.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, you can just go to Hobo with Wood and you can see all of his videos there. Thomas is saying thanks for the video on Ortur Chuck. Okay, that happens to be my favorite Chuck now, Thomas. I had the RA2 and I was a big fan of it. Probably the only thing from Xtool that I am a fan of was the RA2, and I just loved it. And then I got this chuck from Ortur, and that chuck roller is just outstanding. I mean, I absolutely love it. Everything about the fact there was no assembly. You just put the jaws on, plugged it in, no problems with the setup like the YRR that everybody, you know, absolutely hates. There are actually 3 different setups for the YRR because they have 3 different stepper motors that they've used in them. So you can't make a definitive video on how to set up the YRR. And that's the reason why I had to add that PDF download to the end of the video so that people with other stepper motors would be able to get it done. So Jonathan is asking, how do I make fake stitches on a leather patch? And that's a pretty easy one to answer. You're going to use the, what is it called? I think I will have to.
Perforation.
Perforation mode. Thank you, Steve. Yeah, you got to use the perforation mode. So you set the distance of the perforation in the layer. And you just go to cuts and layers and you'll see perforation mode. And then you just set the distance between cuts and the size of the cuts. And you can make stitches that are fake, that just look like stitches, or you can actually make cuts through depending on the speed and the power that you use so that you can stitch it afterwards without having to make holes. So, and I know somebody also that makes wallets, and he makes little circles and does an array all the way around the wallet, down the sides and across the top, across the bottom. So that's another thing that you can do there.
And just above that one, you skipped over. Sharon asked about reversing that truck image. And yeah, it's just take and use your mirror function if you're, let's see.
Well, didn't you do a left and right?
Not on LMR. I did share some left designs on my Patreon,
okay.
page. But
yeah, you can just mirror it.
Yeah, just select the whole thing and just hit the mirror button and flip it, and yeah, it'll carve out or cut out your reverse image or your left image. Yeah, easy peasy.
Okay. Merrell is saying you have humanized the process. Not so fast we can follow. That's our goal. That's our goal, Merrell. That's what we want to do. We want to make sure there are so many videos on YouTube, excuse me, that teach you how to use a laser, but they don't do them live. Well, they're really not live. They're recorded, but they don't do them live. So what happens is they'll miss a step somewhere. They'll edit that out. I missed that step. I'll just edit that out. Keep going,
Mm-hmm.
And then you go to do it and you're like, well, I can't replicate what you did, so that's why we
Yep.
do it. That's why our videos are so long. You get to see our mistakes, you get to see how we fix them, and I think there's no better. Just don't hit that right arrow key. Don't advance through the video, and because a lot of things that we do are mistaken, and we find out about it 2 minutes later, and we say, "Oops, that was a mistake. I got to correct that." So
Yeah, I'm bad for that.
yeah, for if you're watching either me or Steve on YouTube, you should watch the whole video. So otherwise, you'll lose things. Yeah, thank you.
The
Thank
format
you,
so
Brian.
that I want my mistakes to be seen, because watching people fix mistakes, you can learn a lot from that.
Yeah.
Basically.
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. My question is from Daniel. Why hasn't someone, you three guys, designed an in-person training course, maybe one on LightBurn diode, okay, and a 2 or 3 day hands-on course to start your learning? I did, Daniel. I had 3 different courses available. It turned out to be take up a little bit too much of my time. People would come here to the shop in person, and I did a 4-hour course from 9 until 1, and I did another course from 2 to 6 in the afternoon, 3 days a week, and I'd have people come here. And first off, I didn't always get it fully booked. I'd only get 2 or 3 people a week, and because of my location. And second off, it just wound up taking up too much of my time, and I wasn't able to concentrate on the channel. So that's why I don't do it. I think Steve is probably not to that point yet, because he just started in this.
I just started, but if he wants to be my first platinum tier member on Patreon, we can make this happen. I have that platinum tier out there as a joke. It's $5,000 a month, but I will come to your house and talk to you about LightBurn until you're blue in the face. I'll even cook dinner for you.
Do you do windows?
For $5,000
He will.
I'll
Yes,
I'll do the third floor windows, and I'm afraid of heights.
Okay, so Moondog is saying everybody smash that like button. Come on, people, hit that like button. 41 people watching, only 19 likes. Unless you don't like it. If you don't like it, hit the thumbs down.
Now, I offer online training for LightBurn, and I can pretty much do anything else, but I do that. But in person, yeah, I might have to set up a platinum tier too, Steve.
Okay, Tina is asking, is a chuck good for cups like tapered cups? Yes, the answer is yes. The chuck rotary is the best that you could get for tapered cups. Tapered cups, there are a lot of formulas out there. I try not to fool with them if I can, but the trick to a tapered cup is not doing all the math and the algebra and all that kind of stuff. For me, what I do is I take and turn the chuck so that it's perfectly level at the top, and then I just add 10% to the width, and that takes care of the taper. For me, it all comes out good. Nobody's ever said, hey, that doesn't look good, when I finish the product. So I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to stick with doing that. Just rotate it until the taper is perfectly level, lock it in place, add 10% to the width of the graphic, and you should be good. You guys have anything to add?
No, that's pretty much what I do. Yep.
Even using cylinder correction, you're right there in line with me. If I'm using cylinder correction and LightBurn, adding 10% to the width, just stretch it out a little bit. Yep.
Exactly.
We're
Yeah,
right
that's what cylinder correction is. It's just,
Yep.
Of course, it does the algebra for you, so it's going to be a slightly better engraving than mine. But I can tell you that we can probably put them side by side. I don't think you'd be able to really tell the difference.
Yeah, it doesn't account for the taper in the cup, so that's why on a tapered cup I'll typically add 10% even.
Right.
Yep.
So Stuart's asking if the Ortur chuck is compatible with the Xtool. And so far I've checked it. I love the little box that came with it, where you keep everything nice, neat, and tidy. You don't have to use the original box. And it did come with these two adapters, A and B. Now these adapters are not for the Ortur, so I'm assuming these are for every other laser on the market. I do see now we have 3 configurations. You have the original configuration of the cable that's attached to the chuck, and then you have these two. And the difference in these two is that the let me see if I flip this around. So the power is on this side on this one. The power is on this side on this one, and the two in the middle are flipped. So that tells me that these are 2 universal adapters. It does not say in the owner's manual what these are for. You have to assume what they're for, A and B. But I did try this on the Sculpfun and what was the other one? The Sculpfun and the Atomstack. And they both used the same one, which I think was the A, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, in the accessory kit, the chuck roller from Ortur does come with adapters for other lasers. As far as I know, I don't know if you guys know, as far as I know, I have 17 of these diode lasers, and there are only 3 different stepper motors on it. So I'm thinking the original cable, the 2 adapter cables, probably covers all of them. And hello, Bruce in South Carolina. Good to have you here. I'm glad you finally made it too, Tim. nice to see you here. All right, Wendy is saying links to each of the fellow YouTube channels. Subscribe to them. Yeah, and actually, I can just go ahead and put that up. So we'll start off for a little bit. Oh, by the way, if you have any questions on this live stream that we don't answer, I think we're going to be able to answer them all today. Bless you. If you have any questions, right down here at the bottom of the screen, I put up the email address that's dedicated to this channel's live streams, and that is simply QA@lasermakersrealm.com. And I guess we'll start off with my channel since it's up at the top. Let's see. Thomas is saying, I'd like to thank you guys. Your videos are great, and see when you make a mistake, how you fix it. Yeah, right. Exactly. That's what it's all about. And I don't think you can have a good YouTube channel unless you show people, how to do it and the mistakes that they're possibly going to make along the way.
I don't know what he's referring to there.
Okay. Jack is in love with you, Steve.
Yeah.
And he lives right around the corner from you too.
Yeah, and I don't know what he can't do. But
good morning, Army Dogs. How you doing? Okay, let's see. Let me just throw this up. This is Wendy. Thank you, Wendy, for putting that up. I got mine going across the bottom. Oh, welcome, Wendy, by the way. We're glad to have you aboard. Wendy is our moderator in the live chat. So I'll keep switching some of her links there. Tina says, thank you. I bought a roller, but most of my cups are tapered. Yeah. So, we told you the fix for that. That's pretty simple. What's that, Steve? You figured it out?
Yeah, Jack says he can't be my platinum $5,000 a month.
So let's see. Hello to Tom in Austin, Texas. Gretch Zeppelin, hello. Corey, hello from Ponchatoula. Hey, right around the corner, not too far away. Joe is late to the party. Well, we're glad you made it, Joe. Thanks for stopping in. Let's see. Yep. Now I don't know. Did he just commit to that five? That looks like he committed to that 5,000 a month.
That doesn't have any punctuation there, and so it's a question. It's a statement. I don't know.
I think he's in.
I think it's a pledge. Yeah,
Hey,
it's a pledge.
and I don't know exactly where he's at, but I've got enough of a general vicinity that I can go find that 5,000 a month. I'm knocking on your door, Jack.
Okay, so here we go. We're gonna throw up a question for you, Steve. Moondog's question was when do you invert an image?
Invert. I'm not sure exactly. In
Like black and white? Is that what he's talking about?
I'm not sure what he's referring to there, because I don't recall inverting anything. You got any more elaboration there, Moondog? I know you're a loyal viewer.
Yeah, we'll wait for him to answer. Absolutely. Now there are some people that they buy files and the files are inverted. Well, so they have to invert. I don't know if that's what he's talking about there.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, just in general. I don't do a lot of inversion. Do you? How often do you find yourself needing to invert? I guess if you're doing mirrored engravings.
Yeah, that's the only time I invert is when I need to do like mirrors or glass or something like that.
Yeah, that's about the only time I've ever used that. Inverting an image for engraving purposes. And there's, in fact, it's my number one video on Hobo with wood is when I engraved, well, that lion back there. Then that is an inverted image there, but I don't use inverted images very much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
neither do I. Moondog, do you want to elaborate a little bit on that question?
Yeah, I'll invert a graphic if it's going to go on the back of a piece of acrylic or glass. I'll invert a raster image if I'm going to put it on a black business card where what you engrave would show up white, so you'd want to invert it. But other than that, I'm not quite sure what he's referring to.
Yeah,
in general, the only time you're going to invert is when you're doing on glass, and you need a reverse image to come out.
Yeah, and like Patrick just said, and Jim even said too there. He says, it depends on the material,
Yeah,
and what you're trying to accomplish. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
but very, very rare do I invert one.
Mm-hmm. Jim is saying would like to see a Sunday devoted to the sales and marketing of your item. Yeah, I have this next week. I was just telling Steve the other day, I have a talking head video coming out. So basically what that's going to be is it's going to be telling you about how I've progressed through the hobby, and I think that's gonna answer your questions there, Jim. So everything from I started on Facebook to moving up to an Etsy store, which I closed rather quickly because Etsy is a race to the bottom with profits. So I got out of that real quick. I went to a couple of other websites. I started my own website, and then I decided to start the Amazon store, which still operates in another shop a couple miles down the road from here. So I'm going to take you all through that in a talking head video, which I really don't want to do, typically, but a lot of people have been asking for it lately. So I'm going to do that business video. But and I want to say the thing that you don't want to do is get on Etsy. The Etsy is probably the worst place that you can market anything, because everyone there is looking to undercut your price, and everything that you look at has your competitors' prices cheaper on the same page. So just not a good thing. So
Moondog elaborated a little bit more, and it does touch on what Patrick just brought up. He says he sees a lot of people saying they invert on black slate. So yeah, the material, the substrate may dictate you need to invert that.
Okay, I don't invert on slate. I I've actually never, I've never heard that before.
I think he's talking about raster images, like a photo, as opposed to a vector graphic.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So maybe on the photos you'd need to invert it. Yeah.
And
So I do mostly vectors on Slate, although I do some animal tombstones. So those I do invert. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So with the photos, you're going to invert them. And we do have a dedicated PayPal set up today. I'm going to put it in the chat right now. And that is lasermakersrealm.com/PayPal if you want to donate to the guys. Now, I'm not going to be taking any of the donations. It's going to all go toward the channel, all go toward supplies for Steve and for Patrick. So I just put that in the live chat, and that is lasermakersrealm.com/PayPal. You don't need an account with PayPal. Only thing that you need is a credit card. So okay, yeah, Patrick, did you want to show us what you did on those PMAGs?
Sure. See, here's this isn't the exact one, but it's one of the PMAGs I've done in the past.
That's
So
sharp.
of course,
awesome. Oops, hang on a second. I did the wrong. I clicked the wrong button there.
it's all right. Of course, that started out as just a plain PMAG, and then was collared with a 50-watt Raycus fiber laser.
That's sharp. That really, and I have not played with one of those lasers yet, and that just impresses the heck out of me. I like that.
Yeah, can you show that again? I had some problems with the. I have Steve's
Of course.
thing. I had to remove it. Okay, good. Let me see if I can solo that now. And nope, it's still not working. All right, we're just gonna stick to the regular. There we go. Look how beautiful that came out. I just love it. Patrick did one for me as well. A PMAG. So that's, and then, you know, when he does these things and puts the video up, he's going to be also sharing his settings. So just so that you guys can know. Army Dogs Creation. Well, we know by your handle that you've been wanting to do PMAGs. So there you go.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to be doing probably in March. I'll probably be doing a lower, an AR lower, and you know I do some firearms for a couple of sheriff's deputies that I've done so far. So I haven't gotten too far into it, but okay. Let's see. Let's jump over to Jim. Patrick, can I get those colors with my 20-watt Raycus?
You should be able to. That's something, yeah, I can help you out with, but you should have no problem getting those colors with the 20-watt Raycus. We just have to probably adjust your power, speed, something like that, but we can do it, I'm sure.
And just to let you know that I've got all of my PMAGs. I got a whole box of them stacked up next door, and I'll be doing them on the 20-watt, and I'm going to be using Patrick's fiber library to do that with. And we will be sharing that that library on lahobbyguy.com on the forum. So we'll have that library is going to be added to a new fiber section that's coming probably in the next week or so. And you'll be able to download that library for free. You don't have to join any website, pay a monthly fee, or anything like that.
Yep. So this is the file that's attached to the video that I uploaded to Laser Maker Realm YouTube channel. So once you click the link in the description and head over to the website, you can download this LightBurn file, and it shows settings right here in the cuts layers box.
All right,
so
now,
those are all the settings that I had used.
a question that came up on LMR regarding your post is, how did you get the pattern for the outline? How did you get that design of the PMAG? Did you scan it?
I have a long form video on my channel that shows exactly how I got it, but it was basically a camo pattern in Adobe Illustrator, and then each collar
No, not
of the
not the camo pattern, but just the outline of the shape of the magazine itself.
took basically an image of the magazine and traced it with the curve
Same way.
tool
Same way
or
you do
pen
it,
tool.
you know.
Yep.
Okay, because that was brought up on the channel, and I was curious myself. So just to add an actual photograph, and then just did a trace or an image of the image. Okay.
Yep. I'll either use LightBurn camera and set the magazine down on a white background and use LightBurn to trace the image, or that way if I just need a quick trace or something exact, I'll take an actual picture with. I prefer to use LightBurn camera to take the picture with because it's already calibrated and you get an exact size.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then use that image in either LightBurn with its
Uh-oh.
format.
Okay.
I don't know what happened there.
Lost him for just a second.
All right. Let's see. We have a question from New Jersey. I used my Ortur YRR rotary for the first time, and the image came out backwards. So in your laser setup, when you set up the laser, you put in your steps per millimeter. It's under laser tools, set up rotary. When you go to set up the rotary, you have to tick off the little box that says invert image. So anytime that you're doing an image sideways, it has to be inverted on the YRR. All right, let's see what we got. Ed says, wait, hold on. The colors are from the laser, not part of the PMAG to begin with. Yes. Yeah. You want to explain that, Patrick?
Yeah, it starts off as an all black PMAG. And then
Get me a
depending
PMAG
on what settings you're running on each layer, you can produce different collars on this polymer. And with MN2 mags, you can achieve similar results in different collars. And it could be just slight setting changes or major setting changes to change the color. But you see what's black is just the original, and then what's collared was painted with the laser.
All right, I'm sorry. I'm looking for my ammunition box here, and I can't seem to find. I was going to get a.
Let's see. I have a blank PMAG here.
Okay, good. That's what I wanted to show. I mean, it's pure black. Yeah, there you go. That's what it looks like to start with, and basically, what you're doing is you're changing the molecular structure of the polymer. And depending on the speed, the frequency, and the power that you're using, determines what color that polymer turns. So, yep, too late now.
If anybody wants, I'll be happy to just do a quick demo.
Yeah,
and
go
put
ahead.
a camo pattern on this PMAG. Just get the laser set up here.
Yeah, go ahead.
So to determine your colors and your palettes, you would do a kind of a test grid similar to like I do on my.
Yes.
Okay, and then that instead of engraving it in depth, you're going to get different colors.
Yeah, the good thing with the PMAGs or with the fiber laser is that you don't have to necessarily waste material. You can go back over it with a different power setting. You can go back up with a cleanup pass and wipe everything out and start fresh again.
At least on metal.
On metal, yeah. The PMAGs get melted, so that.
Yeah, we don't like melty PMAGs. And then another thing to keep in mind is depending on which PMAG you have, you could end up with different colors. So you might be expecting a gray and you get the shade of brown or something.
Right, depending on the manufacturer.
Well, and even if it's Magpuls, like their 47 model PMAGs might have slightly different polymer than their 15 PMAGs. So then you get different shades. So you always have to test because you can't just copy my settings or anybody else's settings and expect to get the
Right.
same result. You've got to test and find them for yourself.
Yeah, and every magazine is going to be different. Every manufacturer. Joe is saying another way you can get color on PMAG is using RIT dye. So that I don't know anything about that. I'm sure you probably do, Patrick.
Yes. Yep. If you do like a desert tan PMAG, you can soak it in some RIT dye and change the color of it. Or with the black, it will leave that dye color underneath. So you can use that to effectively color PMAGs once you remove the black.
Has to be a MOPA.
No.
No. No. Only 10 rounds in New Jersey. Don't get me started. Time to move out of New Jersey.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm just going to run the same LightBurn file that I supplied in the video.
Now we're just going to slow down a little bit here for a minute, folks, while Patrick gets set up to do a live laser engraving of the PMAG. And we're going to have a lot more fiber stuff on the channel.
And have you got a camera on the laser? We can see it in action.
I do.
Yay!
Yeah, he's got cameras. Patrick is equipped over there.
I try to be prepared. I try my best. Let's see. Let's turn this thing on.
Yeah, Army Dogs has got that right. And there's another one. We'll try to get one round in New York City. You can say that again. I will be right back.
All right, let me do this. I'm going to hide myself so you guys can see magazines.
Yeah, that looks good.
You don't need to see me. You know what I look like. Then I'm using my 3D printed focal stick.
Thank you for sending me one of those, by the way, Patrick.
Oh, you're welcome.
That's absolutely awesome.
Yeah, they're real handy. You can super glue them together or to lock them in place or leave them adjustable, whichever you want to do. So let's frame. Are you able to see the framing, Mike? Yeah, you can barely see it.
Yeah, Jack says he likes that focal stick too.
I just casually mentioned them in one video, and I've sold quite a few of them on my website.
Really?
Never thought they would really take off, but they did. All right, so we are lined up. And, let me turn on my fume extraction because I don't really want to smell PMAGs.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And let's see.
Oh, that's awesome, Wendy. Yeah, for you people that don't know it, Patrick does training. So he does live training. So you can, I think you do it by like Zoom or something. How do you do that, Patrick?
Yeah, Google Meet or Messenger chat or whatever,
Yeah.
Discord, whatever video chat people want to use. I can use them all.
So whatever way that you like to use, he'll help you for a fee with your fiber laser. I know lots of people getting into fiber lasers now and wanting to get some help. So Patrick is your man there. I know very little about him. I make a bunch of stuff with it, but it's sort of hit and miss for me until I learn some more. And Patrick's helping me with that. What can I say?
Right.
I'm not very good at it.
I'll go ahead and get this started. So let's see. Here we go.
There we go. That's one of the things I like most about the fiber laser is that it's done very quickly. And of course, you know, even the MOPA CO2.
I like doing things on the fly like this. I like the challenge of being live and forced to make decisions and fix mistakes and while everybody is watching. So I like the challenge of it.
I don't see any mistakes on this one, and we got 55 people watching right now.
Yep. So this is running the exact same file that people would get when they download. So the settings are already in there. And those settings are for a 50-watt Racus with a 175 millimeter lens.
Mm-hmm. I don't think so, Merrell. I'm not sure what you would get on a polymer with a diode laser. You'd probably just melt it.
Yeah, I've tried and have not had much success with a diode.
Yeah, when it comes to plastics, you're not going to be able. You need to have a fiber for plastics.
All right, so let me grab
I'm
the
going to go
PMAG
purchase the
here.
laser based on your recommendations, Patrick. That's beautiful. You see, that's just how quick it was done. Quick and easy. The only thing you need to do is just add a design to it. You might add someone's logo, like Patrick did for me. He added my logo to it and sent me one in the mail. You know, so that's all you have to do is just add a logo to it.
That's cool.
Yeah, I do not have a MOPA laser. I think that's our comment. It is not a MOPA.
Yeah. You don't have a MOPA CO2? You do have a MOPA laser, don't you? Don't you have a CO2 MOPA?
A CO2 Galvo, but not a MOPA fiber laser. Yep.
Why am I saying that? Okay, my mistake. How many mags do you keep on hand? I have 15 that are loaded out.
I have two cases of PMAGs sitting over in the next room, but they're not for me. They're for an organization that. So I won't get to keep them, but I mean, I have 200 at least.
Yeah.
At the moment.
Well, personally, I'll usually keep around 15 that are loaded and ready to go on the shelf. Wendy says he has a graphic separated into different groups, which are assigned to different settings. Okay. And yeah, we know that, Joe.
Account for ridges in the mag at all? No, I did not. With a fiber laser, your galvo, just like a diode or any other lens, you've got a certain focal distance where it's relatively in focus when that beam's at its smallest diameter, based on the hourglass shape. And those ridges pretty much stay within that in focus, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Stippling with a diode. Stippling what? You can't really do plastics with a diode.
Stippling with a diode wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah, Jack, I know. My mind is every day it gets a little bit worse. No, you don't need to make any. Not with the fiber. It's not that far off. So I can't tell you how many I have loaded and ready. Probably a lot. Most people do have a lot. I think that I'm probably on the low end of the average. I think usually the average person has at least 25 mags that are, you know, ready on the shelf just in case anything.
And that's just per caliber. I mean, really, you should have that many in each caliber.
Right. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm also an FFL, so I have lots of magazines and
Awesome. I didn't know
bullets
that.
and all that kind of stuff. Yep. That's
Cool.
how I do the firearm engraving, is by having my FFL, of course.
Yeah, the only one that I don't have enough mags on right now is my 1911. I only have 6 for the 45 caliber.
Let's see. So this stipple job was also done with a non-MOPA fiber laser.
Beautiful.
That is gorgeous.
What? How many watts was that one?
Just a 50 watt.
The 50 watt.
Yep. So you can get the gold collar on Glock polymer with the fiber laser as well. And then,
How many passes on that, Patrick? For the gold? Do you remember?
I'd have to double check my settings.
I think I had to do 50 passes with the 20 watt.
Yeah, it's normally more.
No, it was 100 passes. I do 100 passes.
Yeah, normally low power, high speed, multiple passes gets you a lighter collar on polymers in general.
Yeah. And Bruce needs some PMAGs, I guess. Wendy's asking, where are you allowed to sell mags? Well, he has a FFL, so with FFL he's not selling them. He's taking delivery of products that people buy online and things like that. Or if somebody makes a purchase in person, he'll do the transfer.
Yeah, and you can sell accessories without an FFL. It's just
Now, typically, from what I've seen with the PMAGs, is that a lot of people are selling the engraving. You mail them your mags, they do the engraving and then mail them back to you.
Yeah. Well, having an FFL, I'm able to get PMAGs at wholesale cost, so then I could engrave them and charge a reasonable price rather than somebody paying retail, then engraving on top of that.
You can sell them without a license in any free state. Yeah, the magazine, that's not a firearm, so. Does a design with many colors change the feel of the grip? Yes, it does. Anything that's engraved does give it a different sensation when you're holding it. I engraved some 110 outlet covers with the diode. Yeah, my outlet covers are engraved in the shop next door. Got my logo on them. In fact, you can get a free download of that on the Louisiana Hobby Guy forum.
Well, I was going to show you another stipple engraving while we were on that subject, but I don't have it sitting here handy.
I called the ATF to see if I need FFL to engrave firearms. They told me I would have to call my local. Nobody really knows the answer to that, but the answer is no. You do not. You don't need an FFL just to engrave magazines.
Magazines, no. If you're dealing with a serialized part of a firearm,
No, that's different. Yeah.
Yep, you would need your FFL.
And that's what he was talking about with firearms.
Yeah. I knew I shouldn't have gotten the monport CO2 and gotten the laser. Still haven't tried it. No, the CO2, I do a lot more on my CO2 than I do on my fiber. That's for sure.
All right. Since we were doing show and tell on the subject, I thought I'd show these off. I did 2 revolvers for Christmas, one for each of my kids. So here's number 1.
Wow. Beautiful.
So it's a total wrap on the cylinder. I did the grip and then added some red collar to that, matched the scroll work. And then it's, you have to get in there tight for it to see it here. But then I did a special engraving.
Oh, I like that.
with my daughter's name on it on the Merrell.
And so those are for your kids.
Yep, and then this one is for my son.
And they're what?
I added
4 and 6 years old.
12 and 14.
Okay.
Close. That came out beautiful. Wow.
And then there's that one I did in a darker color, and then added some blue into the engraving on that handle.
That's pretty.
And he also has a special inscription right there.
Oh yeah, stippling with a soldering iron. Yeah, I've watched plenty of those videos. In fact, it wasn't too long ago, maybe 4 years ago. You know, that's the way that I would stipple, was with the soldering iron. That
Yep.
That's a whole nother art in itself, and that's just incredible. And I see people stippling too with doing the initial design with a rotary tool. What do you call those? Dremels?
Yeah, the Dremel. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. That's funny.
Yeah.
Ed's requesting you adopt him.
Wow.
Question, was the cylinder engraved? Yeah, I actually did the pattern so that it wouldn't engrave inside where the cylinder catches as it rotates around, or the flutes that are cut in the cylinder.
That skill.
Well, and I actually did it on this Noah laser with and used their jewelry rotary to do it. I used this guy.
Yeah.
And then I used 3 screws, one in every other cylinder bore, and it held it nice and concentric, and used LightBurn to do the. You should check out the video on my channel. There's a short and then I think a longer one, but it shows LightBurn just twisting that rotary back and forth, engraving all around it. It's fun to watch.
Yeah. So, okay, how are we doing on question-wise? We just passed the hour mark. I think that's pretty much our goal for today, is to do an hour live. But before we go, we just want to make sure that we've answered everybody's questions. So, if anybody's got any more questions, if you want to know anything about let me just switch screens here. If you want to know anything about the door hanger that Steve designed this week, I can't seem to get this to go straight. There we go. And you can't see all the names, but this is the door hanger that I did. Steve's got one that he did. Of course, mine looks much nicer.
Of course.
And that's thanks.
I did mine without names.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, that is thanks to Chaz. Let me give him a little bit of credit here. Let's see. We're going to go to this camera over here, and he's not in that picture. Get in the picture there, Chaz.
He's barely in there.
There you are. Hey. He moved off to the side, so we couldn't see him over there. But
Rich, want to reiterate, if anybody has downloaded that and had problems, download it again, because the problems have been corrected with those open paths.
Yes.
So
Steve corrected all the problems, and if you downloaded it again already before 2 hours ago, you may need to download it one more time if you're using the LightBurn library.
Yeah.
So go back. Well, now it's completely fixed. It's ready to go. There are no problems with the file anymore. You can weld names into it. You see that I welded my names into it. So the file is ready to go.
Yeah.
So we're going to wait maybe 2 more minutes, and if anybody's got any more questions, now would be the time to do it.
While we're waiting, I saw people said "wow" on my cylinder engraving, but I look at the stuff that Rich and Steve create and make with their diodes and CO2s and their self-created graphics in LightBurn, and I'm always like, wow! Like everybody has their own, I guess, specialty or what they prefer to dabble in, and
Yeah,
yeah, it's wows all around to
yeah,
everybody.
That's what makes
yeah,
this channel really so great in my eyes. Because I love looking at your stuff. I can't do it, won't be doing it, but I love looking at it and love seeing the ability that you can do that. It's super impressive. I loved watching you just do that demo just now. So
yeah.
that's what makes
Oh
it.
yeah, that
Thank you.
the fiber lasers are super cool to watch. You know, if you have one, you know what we're talking about. But as soon as you start the job, you see you put the glasses on and you just sit there and you go like this, and you stare at it and you watch it maybe for the first 15, 20, 30 passes, something like that, and then it's like, wow, that's so cool. I can't
Well,
stop watching it.
there's the most important question of the day is on there from Army Dogs 305, right?
Hang on one second.
There you go.
Okay. Ah.
Most important question of the day.
I'm gonna say Dallas.
Because I'm not. I'm gonna say 49ers. Patrick, you got a dog in that fight?
I'm a Steeler fan, so I would have to go 49ers.
Hey, Wendy, there might be 3 people that don't like the video. Hey, guys, please like the video. Leave a comment after we're done with the live. The more comments, the more likes, the more views that we get. Come back and rewatch it. The more this channel is going to get put out on YouTube and recognized by YouTube, and you know, that's what we're looking to do. We're going to bring you some great content. Do you think the OLM3 is a great buy? I love the LaserMaster 3. It's a great machine, no doubt about it. You pair the LaserMaster 3 with the new chuck roller that they just got, and you got yourself a really nice combination there. All right, you got Niners, and then we got Dallas, and then we got nine. It's just going to keep going back and forth. I have a lot of orders for earrings because I made some of your videos. Just finished some birch with purple heart inlays. Oh yeah, that's got to be gorgeous. That's got to be really beautiful.
Cool.
Hey Jack, I've got some more files. You and I gonna have to get together. Hey, Jack, for those that don't know, he literally lives 3 miles from me up here. So we're gonna have to get together, go down to Tony's Ice Cream, and I'll hook you up with some more designs there.
Jack, can you post pictures of those earrings in the Facebook group? I'd love to see those.
Yeah, let me go ahead and for the last time turn on that social media down on the bottom of the screen there. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you. Thank you, Army Dogs. Appreciate the donation.
Yeah, thank you very much.
That's going to pay for all of the materials
Thank you.
and for everybody that's donated so far with the link. Thank you very much. That's going to help Patrick and Steve maintain their materials. I have my own patrons and donors on my channel, so I'm not going to get involved with that. But these guys need your donations for sure.
Amen.
All right, Joe. Hopefully, doing an unboxing, uncrating next week. That's of the CO2, I think, right?
Yeah. Joe's wife is getting a really big CO2 gantry machine. I can't wait to see that.
Wow, that's cool. Let's see if we have any more questions in here. Is it time? Is it time for an Xtool 40 watt, or is 20 watts more than enough? Oh, listen, folks, I get this question every single day, and I'll answer it for you really quickly. My favorite laser engravers are 5.5 watts or some 10 watts, depending on the manufacturer. Those are my 2 favorites. Why we have this race to 100 watts in diode lasers going on right now, I don't know. But when you start stacking all these diodes on top of each other, each one needs to have a collimating lens in between. and every time you collimate the laser beam, it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until it comes out the bottom. So, you know, go ahead and get the 20 watt. I did this today on the 20 watt. It did some fine detail. The very small. Let me see. I can't show you one here, but the very small dots over the names, like over the eyes, it cut them out okay. And you know, yeah, 20 watt is great. Saves you time. My favorite laser is going to be a 10 watt because of the fine detail, and even a 5.5 watt because of the even finer detail. And if you're doing something that's extremely fine detailed, maybe the 1.5 watt or the 0.5 watt that I've got, I might use any of those. I might run one job on the 5 watt or the 10 watt, and another engraving job on the 0.5 watt. It just depends. So, you know, the best laser that I have is the 0.5 watt that I got 3 years ago from Ortur, one of my very first diode lasers. So don't race to the power. Don't jump for the hype. Keep in mind that Xtool is a marketing company, so they are going to keep pushing the limits, and they're going to keep pushing out a new product every 2 or 3 months, and they want you to buy it, and that's what it's all about. So stick to what you got. Whatever you got, use it. Have fun with it. 5.5 watt, 10 watt. I will make a quick announcement that there is a gentleman in China that I've worked with over the course of time that has put together an incredible 10 watt laser coming on the market. It is all in one. There is no assembly. You take it out of the box, you plug it in, and you go. It comes complete with everything that you can imagine. It's a quality machine. It has the enclosure, it has the exhaust, it has the drag chains, it has the roller accessory, has the honeycomb bed, has everything that you can imagine in a laser. Everything that you would want in a laser for under $1,000 is coming to you soon. Keep an eye on my channel, because you're gonna see the review video on it, and I've had a lot of input into it. He's come to me for advice on how to put this machine together, where it would be something that you know, would be very useful, and people would enjoy it and buy it. And he's priced it under $1,000. So it's a beautiful machine. Look out for that one, because you're going to want to see this one when I do the review on that.
Well, I had my sneak peek last night, and I'm super impressed.
Yeah, impressive machine. Impressive.
Just above that one comment, Rich, Sharon had a question. Is there a way to convert power and speed setting from 20 watt to 10 watt? And I'm curious what your feedback on this. Now, what I have seen is some people will actually equate it to like, okay, well, if it takes 100% power to do it with a 10 watt, you can do it with 50% power on a 20 watt, because you've got,
and that doesn't work.
And that doesn't work. And ultimately, my advice is, there is not really a set pattern, and you need to test, because even if there is a mathematical equation, because of all of the difference and variations one laser to the next, you really just got to.
There is no mathematical equation, and I'll tell you why. Let's say that you've got this piece of 6 millimeter 4-ply plywood. Okay. When you're cutting this piece of wood at 100% power, let's say 1,500 millimeters per minute, the molecular structure in the cut is going to be different with the 20 watt laser as the 10 watt laser at 50%, at 100% power and half that speed, or however you do the math. It doesn't matter how you do the math. You're not going to come. It's not going to work. You have to run a test grid on every different laser that you've got. Yep. And I don't have a single 10 watt that I can say I've doubled the speed and doubled the power, you know, to use the 20 watt. Just doesn't work that way.
And then Ed makes a comment there about wattage doesn't change the size of his beam, but I think you just said, yeah, it does, because you've got more and more lenses. that's where you do lose the size of that point of the laser. So
yes,
yeah,
wattage does change the size of the beam.
Yeah.
Unless you're going from 6 to 7.5 watts, something like that.
Yeah.
But when you're going from 5 to 10 double stack 5.5 watt diodes, then you're collimating it. And when you collimate it, it increases the size. And then also when you collimate it, it also increases the rectangle. So you go from having a square beam to having a rectangle beam, and that makes all the difference in the world. So, and in the last live, by the way, I said it wrong. My old brain just gets worse every day. But when you're cutting in a vertical line, your rectangle is going to be like this, cutting wide, and then all of a sudden you go horizontal and start moving, and that whole rectangle is cutting. So yeah, you're going to get a better cut on your X than you will on your Y with stacked diodes like that. And the more you stack, the bigger the rectangle gets. You're getting more power. So yeah, you're going to be able to cut thicker material, but the rectangle just gets bigger. So your precision engraving is much worse.
And he had a clarifying comment there. He meant on one head to 20 watt is at 50% and not the same as the 10 watt at 100%. Oh, okay. Yeah. Little clarifying there. Yeah.
If you own two sizes of the same brand laser, could you change out the lasers on the same? That depends on the machine. So on some you can. On Ortur you can any of the 5 and 10 watts, or any of the 5 watts, I should say. You can change them out to long focus, short focus, whatever you want. They have several different lenses that you can use. So it depends on the machine. Now you can't change out the 5 watt to a 10 watt without an adapter board on the Ortur. I meant on the one head 20 watt, 50% is not the same as. That's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Wouldn't the addition of multiple lenses and mirrors for more diodes only affect the life of the laser? Well, there are no mirrors involved. These are just collimating lenses. So multiple lenses, would it affect the life of the laser? Nobody really knows the answer to. Obviously, the lower percentage that you run the laser at, the longer it's going to last. But I don't think that you're ever going to burn out a diode laser before you wind up upgrading to another diode laser, or maybe a CO2 or something like that. So does the grain affect the cuts? Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. If you're going with the grain, you're going to get a deeper cut. If you're going against the grain, you're going to get a shallower cut. And what really matters is I like to use hardwoods for all of my projects. Now, I didn't today. Today I used this 6mm Baltic birch plywood. And this is all Baltic birch, though. All 4 layers is Baltic birch. So, but the key is that if you use a hardwood, then you have a solid piece of wood, and you're not cutting through the glue. And the glue disperses the laser beam on the diode lasers, and it takes more, either more power or slower speed to be able to cut through the same. If I had 6mm hardwood as compared to 6mm plywood, the hardwood, believe it or not, would cut easier. All right, I think we're got one more here. Just got a comgrow Z1 laser, and I can't get LightBurn to see it. Any suggestions? Yeah, I mean, right click on the devices button on the laser tab. That's the first thing you can do. Check your USB, unplug it and replug it again. On the comgrow Z1 10 watt, you're going to need that CH340 SCR driver. So what you can do is you can open the laser Gerbil, and you can install the driver from there. If you click on help in laser Gerbil and install CH340, and then go ahead and install it. If it's already installed, uninstall it reinstall it, and then you should be good to go on the in LightBurn. All you have to do is right click on devices. That'll reset the laser, and then if you see on right to the right of that devices button, you'll see a drop down menu. If you pull down that drop down menu, you'll see a choice of the different COM ports that you've got on your computer. You may be on the wrong COM port. Pick a different COM port. Try them all. When you find the right one, actually right clicking on devices should find the right COM port for you. But that's another way of checking. And also, if you have multiple lasers, make sure you have the right lasers selected. To the right of that on the laser tab, you'll see the name of the laser that you're using. So those are a few tips that should help you with that. Okay, see you, Doug. Thanks for joining us. Stuart says, had my Ortur laser mask 2 for 2 years, and the laser is still working great. I have 3 of them that I've had for 3 years now that have been in production work, and we've only changed the file. We've only slowed the speed down one time on it. So, yeah, they last a really, really long time. So that's about it. It looks like we're good. We're almost at an hour and a half. I was hoping to do, a 1 hour today. We did an hour and a half, almost there anyway. I just want to thank everybody for joining us today. If you haven't been over to the lasermakersrealm.com, that's where we'll be posting links to everything, every project that we do. You come over to the Louisiana Hobby Guy, click on the forums. There's lots of free projects in there. There's thousands of pieces of artwork. There are LightBurn libraries, everything that you can imagine there. Check us out on Facebook and Discord and whatever social media that you like, Facebook groups. We've got channels everywhere, and on the lasermakersrealm.com, there are links to our channels right up at the top. You'll see our names right there. So I want to say thank you to everybody for joining in today. And I thought we had a good session today. And I want to thank you, Patrick, and thank you, Steve. And I just want to say thank you to everybody.
Yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Yes. Okay, everybody. We will see you in 2 weeks.